So for those of you who didn't know, I was a fan of Nisekoi, and today the final chapter was released. Now before some of you cheeky bastards say I'm reviewing this to capitalize on its ending, no. Fuck off. I started reading about a few years ago when it was just about at 100 chapters. I see a lot of people just saying they're glad that it ended because it was just mostly filler. While a lot of it was filler, it never bothered me. There were plenty of moments that ticked me off, but what series doesn't have that? I stuck with it because the characters were fun. The art had me legit laugh out loud at times with their reaction faces, and I was genuinely interested in finding out who Raku would pick in the end. So I am sad that it's over. Whether I'm in the minority or not, I don't care. Alright, let's get on to the actual chapter. Raku states that he did go on to get a government job like he always wanted, but he also ended up becoming the head of the Yakuza group. At this reveal, you see how much Raku has matured. He was always really dense, but to see him all grown up and making the right decisions not just for his family but for himself show that he turned into a pretty smart individual. He's dedicated himself to protecting his community above board and underground. As for the Beehive, Claude took over, which seems like an obvious choice. He and Raku appear to be getting along better, but they're not without their occasional scolding. We then see Raku is getting in contact with everyone. He's planning out his wedding. Another bold decision from Raku, seeing as it seems like he and Chitoge don't get to see each other that often. Anyway, through these calls we see that Shu and Ruri have finally gotten together, and it's too adorable. Shu became a teacher while Ruri accomplished her goal of becoming a translator. It's hinted at that the two may get married someday, but for now it looks like they're happy just being a couple. I think this pairing was heavily implied even in the beginning, and I'm glad it came to fruition. Haru has taken over the snack shop and is sullen over not meeting her prince. I do feel bad for her because she was the superior Onodera, but I have a feeling Fu will be there to help her out. And Paula became a scientist. Yeah, I don't really have an explanation for that. Never seemed like that was her area of expertise, but I say good for her nonetheless. Yui is still the dom, but we see that she's pregnant, which is nice. It's great she was able to move on from Raku and find love with someone, even though we don't know who it is. And Tsugumi became an exclusive model for Chitoge. Just gonna take that in for a second. I stand by it that Tsugumi was the best, and seeing her now only increases that mindset. Marika is trying to find her best suitor, but it's going poorly, although her reasoning is pretty perfect. She's seeking out someone who can be more amazing than Raku. Whether or not she succeeds is obviously up in the air, but it's a good way to leave Marika, who's on a journey to find someone that can surpass Raku in her eyes. And then there's Kosaki. She also got into making sweets, but she's busy making the cake for Raku and Chitoge's wedding. I don't know why, but this made me feel a little depressed. I know it's supposed to show that she's happy for the two of them and got past her infatuation with him, but making the wedding cake for the guy you could have been with if you had just spoken up and the girl who won him over comes off to me as kind of a bummer. And for the final pages, Raku meets up with Chitoge at the mountain. They've brought what appears to be a new locket and key. Raku finally proposes marriage, which Chitoge graciously accepts. But before they can leave, Chitoge wants one more thing. Leaning in closer and closer for a kiss ends with a wide shot and of course an argument about how Raku messed up their first kiss. I'm very satisfied with this ending. I always expected Chitoge to win over Kosaki, but the build up to this finale was done very well. We got to see everyone and see how they managed to move on after everything that happened. I feel each character got a proper wrap up, whether they actually ended up with someone or still searching for that special someone. The whole cast just seems happy, and that makes me happy. For a series that may have felt dragged out at times, I think it had a damn good final chapter. Not rushed like some other series. It's not the best romance manga out there, but it's highly entertaining and I would fully recommend it to anyone. So goodbye Nisekoi, thanks for the fun ride.